45 minutes of nonsensical victim blaming and circular pretzel logic that really ended up just being a galactic waste of time. And I'm sure reporters were either just dumping the audio off of their digital recorders, throwing out the tapes, tossing out the notes, because it just got to a point where it you were wasting your time. The reporters were wasting their time writing down notes. So
And it's a good point. I never heard a clip of it after the initial, like, because the radio stations were playing it live, so I heard it live. Then after that, I never heard like a clip of it, like a soundbite or anything.
yeah, it.
So they
I
probably
think
did, just like, yeah, no, you heard it. If you missed it, good for you.
and that's almost. I'm not saying that they were protecting the Bears. I don't know if the Bears had asked everybody to dump this to please disregard and almost just put up straw men, like just say, "Hey, look, we put scarecrows in front of Brandon Marshall to talk," and then there's Les Grobstein there asking. Yeah, he just showed up anyway.
Ask
Uh,
about Madonna.
who Brandon Marshall would like to see perform at the halftime show, which apparently is going to be Katy Perry, and
And I'm okay with that.
after her, I don't know, dalliance in College Game Day, I think I'm okay with
It
that.
was the greatest college game day of all time.
That's what everyone was saying. There was like this big alert that went out. Like I started following Bleacher Report, and they're like, "Hey guys, Katy Perry." In a very casual way, I'm saying it, but they're like, "Hey, Katy Perry is going to be on College Game Day. This may be something you want to see." And then Twitterverse blew up that Saturday.
Well, because I normally watch it anyways. Just I know it's ESPN, and you can tell you're watching ESPN, and Matt, you know what that means. Like you know what
Yes.
I mean by that. Um, but it's just for some reason it's something I've always watched. There's not really a whole else on early Saturday morning, so I usually watch it, and I usually I watch it all the way through the picks, and the celebrity picks are usually lame, and usually the celebrity knows a little bit about college football. She knew even less than that, but she but she knew that she kind of knew it was ridiculous anyways, and I felt like she was like I felt like she feels like Dan Bernstein. We're like making picks are stupid, so I'm gonna have fun with this. The one game I
Cinema
think
bench show.
it was Mississippi State and um I think Georgia
Is that
maybe
Auburn?
or Auburn. Yeah,
Auburn?
Auburn. They're the same colors, right? So she's like, she's like, usually I pick the team based on the color, and since they're the both colors, it was just like okay. So she was just having fun with it, and I think that made for a very entertaining show.
And it took them how long to get an entertaining product out there?
A while.
Yeah. So she took over game day and the internet for a good 24-hour span. Let's see. So, well, I guess without further ado, we can get to Patrick's summation. I'm going to summarize some of the things because, well, if you haven't been paying attention, well, the Raiders are 0-5. Let's see, weeks 3 through 6. Week 3, a loss to New England. They didn't play all 4 quarters. Some progression, though. Next, week 4, they ended up in England playing the Dolphins. Started strong. Carr got hurt, barely stand, and Dennis Allen, who is no longer the head coach of the Raiders, ended up keeping him in to run another play, and ends up getting, I believe, concussed or so. Let's see, it ended up becoming another loss. Week 5, it was the bye. Fired Allen, make Tony Sperano, former head coach of your Miami Dolphins. Does he have eye issues? Like, did he have like cataract surgery or anything like that? Because I know he's always wearing sunglasses.
I don't know. Yeah. I never really paid attention to that, but now that I think about it, yeah, that's how I always picture him, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
So if you do want to hear more about, let's see, the season so far at that point, please feel free to listen in to It'd Be Like That podcast, episode 19, to hear Patrick's rant. This past week, week 6, they played the Chargers, and they lost 31-28, so a bit of a shootout there, but I guess that's kind of what you expect when the Chargers kind of end up, and this is my editorial, but when the Chargers play down to their competition. No offense, Patrick, there. But the whole team looked like they did a 360. Sperano kept the Raiders pumped up. The players looked like they cared again, and even though they lost, they actually looked like they were competing. Carr threw for 4 touchdowns and played a hell of a game. Raiders rushed for over 100 yards in the first time this season. With Allen gone, things just look a bit brighter right now. He says there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's better, but it is better as a fan to watch, as they competed for once this year. His words, not mine. Thanks again. Keep up the great work as always, and go Raiders, as only Patrick can do. Thank you, Patrick, for getting back to us. Thank you for the update. I don't know what's on the horizon for the Raiders. I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to go for the 0-16, get the top draft pick. I know they got a tough road to sow against the Jaguars, who are seemingly just as hapless. And I guess on the Raiders note, I don't know if you saw this a couple weeks ago, that the NFL announced that Los Angeles is ready for a team and possibly 2 teams within 24 months.
So Oakland's going back to LA?
And the 3 teams that they didn't mention were the Rams, the Raiders, and the Jaguars. And I was completely astounded by that.
The only one I could see the only one that would make sense to me I don't know the relationship between like the Raiders and the city of Oakland or the Rams and the city of St. Louis, but it seems like there wouldn't be a reason for either one of those teams to leave. Oakland still draws really well in Oakland, as far as I know. Rams, as far as I know, draw well. Jacksonville is Jacksonville's not even a city. That's like it's a town. A bad one.
Also, is Green Bay and Buffalo, as far as I'm concerned.
but
Sorry,
Buffalo's Canada. Let's be honest. It's not even a good town though. Like, no one wants to go there. The team is bad, so no one goes to the games. Jacksonville, the Jaguars, I should say, is the team that would make sense to me on moving to wherever, whether it be LA or another city looking for a team. I think the Jaguars would be the first team to move, or at least it would make sense for them to be the first team to move.
Yeah, in a completely unrelated note, in my version of Madden last year, you have the option to be an owner and run the franchise. In my franchise, I didn't end up running the Jaguars, took the Bears, of course, but one of the news that the simulated news items is that the Jaguars moved to Los Angeles right off the bat. Or no,
Really?
It wasn't Los Angeles. It was San Antonio right off the bat. And I was like, wow, okay. You guys don't want a team in Jacksonville. And I completely simulated everything like that. Some programming, I'm sure, in there and everything. But I was listening to XM over the past couple of days on my morning drive, and ironically, Bleacher Report Radio on there. And they were stating that I'm not a soccer fan, but the owner of the Jaguars also happens to own an English Premier League team. And he, I guess it's nice to diversify like that, but his heart isn't on the American side. And with the Jaguars being slated to play games over in London over the next couple of years, it's out there that the NFL could move a team to London, and the Jaguars would probably be the first team to jump at that. I think that's a horrible idea. I think the London games are a nice novelty if you get the good teams to go there. I think Dallas draws well. The Patriots draw well out over there because, well, they want to see our quote best of the best, or those, I don't know, historical teams. Versus if you see some serial A or B teams over here in some friendly matches or whatever with MLS teams, no one cares. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know what to say about. I don't know what to think if a team was to move over to London. I think it's stupid. Sorry for our friends in Britain. If we have any listeners over there that do care about the NFL,
They don't.
Yeah, they just don't. Your EPL and your Premier League and all your good, your English football or world football is. You guys have fun with that. That's totally fine. The FIFA game.
I wonder. I wonder if they had like if there was an NFL game on TV, and there was like a rugby game or Australians. First of all, is rugby the same as Australians rule football? Or I heard there's like slight differences, but either way, let's say we'll call it rugby. If a game of rugby is on TV, let's say between two good rugby teams, and a NFL game is on, and you're living in England, which game are you watching? Like, I wonder, like, what would draw better? I don't know.
I think the rugby would personally. That's just me, and that may just be a complete stereotype. Hell, I'd say cricket would outdraw a an NFL game in England. But again, stereotype. That's fine. I'll gladly own that one. That I'm just completely projecting on that one. I don't. I think right now the NFL has a big problem with their product, especially in live formats. There now is a stipulation that going forward, if your city wants to host a Super Bowl, your team has to go play a game in England, which is completely asinine as far as
Really,
I'm concerned.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, this came down this past week, so a little hidden bit of news there. So fix your game first, and when I mean fix your game, I mean, well, aside from cleaning up all the social issues that are going on and all those sorts of, I don't want to call them distractions because that's not fair to those issues. Clean your game, clean the players up, clean the behavior and your code of ethics and rules of conduct up, but also make your live product better and more affordable for individuals. FCC lifted their blackout rules, so if the NFL wants to black out a game, it's on the NFL. So it's not on it's not on the government to do so. So games don't have to sell out to be blacked out. So Patrick can watch his games, and those fans in Jacksonville can watch those games. I'm only kidding on in Oakland, Patrick. Honestly,
By the way, not all games are too expensive to go to. As I was looking up Oakland's schedule on Sunday, November 30th, they play at the Rams, and tickets are still available starting at $10.
Is that in the black hole or?
I don't know. It's at St. Louis, so it's at the Rams. So,
okay.
Yeah. So if hey, it might be worth making a trip, Patrick. You spend a little money on a train ticket, a plane ticket, and or a train ticket if you want to take a little longer ride, and go to Oakland St. Louis game for $10. What do you think?
There you go. No better investment there. Well, I guess those prices can be a little bit reflective of what the Rams are drawing right now. But the product is so great at home, on the couch experience, your living room, man cave, whatever. It looks great in high def. You got packages for Red Zone, Sunday Ticket. You can you can see any game that's going on, and I think it was who was playing on last Thursday night. I happened to catch Indy and Houston, and the game was in Houston. Fans were pretty jacked up, but there were a lot of empty patches. I think the end zones looked pretty barren as far as the stands are concerned. And like San Diego, anytime I see a shot of Qualcomm, the upper bowls are never full. There's scattered people at best over there. And I mean, I don't know what the prices are to get into Soldier Field and what the final ticket or the final receipt price would be on that. If I was to take, the three of us, my family, or if the four of us were to go